Hey everyone, what's up? It's Belle and welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Okay, we've got a lot to get into in this video. Jeffree Star recently came out with a kind of apology video, I want to say, but it wasn't really an apology video. It was more a video about his mental health and the fact that he's going to be moving to Wyoming, getting out of California. It was a lot more about that situation, about how he's been feeling since his dog Daddy unfortunately passed away, and how he's just thrown himself into work, kept going and kind of burnt himself out. And that's the reason why I think he hasn't uploaded a lot of YouTube videos recently. You know, we also know that his assistant Maddie and his videographer Christian have both gone. So is this Jeffree Star quitting YouTube? It might be, I don't know. But there's a lot of things that I want to talk about within this video, because there are some other people who've made reactions to Jeffree Star's video as well. And we're going to get into a couple of things on this right now.
I had to face a lot of demons. I had to look in the mirror and really self-reflect. And being in this big house is so lonely. It really is. And it wasn't at first, but it's really lonely here. I'm just one person now. You know, my mom has lived with me. I've had friends, I've had family, I've had cousins, I've had employees stay with me. Obviously, this is like a hotel basically, and it's just not for me anymore. It's time to move on. It's time to grow, and I don't think I can do it here. But I really want to go back to not letting myself heal, dealing with so much trauma. I'm going to use that word a lot today because I've had so much. And if you don't deal with your demons, they're gonna haunt you and eat you alive. When my second dog, Daddy, passed away, I still have a really hard time talking about it. I miss the dogs a lot. Every day I think about them, and I thought I was okay last year, and I really wasn't. The only thing keeping me distracted was filming my series, putting out the conspiracy palette with Shane, and those were life-changing moments. Those were some of the biggest moments of my career. It was such a high to be in the midst of full depression and heartbreak coming, and we're filming a series, and it was the only thing distracting me, I think, from really going down a place where I don't know, I don't even want to think about it, but it was such a blessing to be able to have that distraction. And when the launch happened and the distraction was over, reality really hit me. I look back and I think that I was existing without slowing down. I was just there, and I'm such a workhorse. I have such a strong work ethic, and I just masked all my pain with work. I got back on the road. I was doing meet and greets every other week. I was traveling on an airplane every day, and I was running from my problems.
Okay, so I've seen quite a few reactions to Jeffree Star's video. There are a lot of people out there who feel like this video wasn't genuine. He's just doing the same old thing over again, that he's basically recycled this video from a previous apology video he's made. That was one point that I saw a YouTuber called Pastel Belle make. Honestly, I didn't feel that way about this video. This video, for me, I felt like it was one of the most probably genuine videos that we've ever actually seen from Jeffree regarding his mental health and his actual feelings and how he's doing. I thought it was very natural and very honest. You know, that's just my 2 cents. That's how I feel about that video that Jeffree made. But, of course, a lot of people who are, you know, coming down hard on Jeffree for this video are people who are still, you know, giving him shit for scandals and things that he's been in the past. So, one of the things that came up recently in a video that I saw from another commentary channel called Rainy Day Reviews and Commentary, she put in her video something about how Jeffree Star was always pictured with alcohol in the past, and she kind of made a point of talking about Jeffree Star and alcohol, saying, why does he always mention that he doesn't drink if he's never had alcohol and never, you know, had a problem with it or anything like that? Jeffree put this photo up on his IG with this caption and then very swiftly deleted it. It says, "Self-reflection is the school of wisdom. I've been a makeup artist since I was 12 and it was always a dream of mine back then to have my own line. I would spend hours every night recreating looks I saw in my mother's Cosmo magazines and it was my escape. When you come from a poor background and a family full of alcoholics, you don't fully understand what that means when you're a little kid. I found art and makeup, it changed my life." And then to kind of back that statement up, you know, because people always like to say, oh, Jeffree's been pictured with alcohol, Jeffree's been pictured drinking, Jeffree lies about never having drunk alcohol, all of this kind of stuff. The crazy lies that people like to make up about Jeffree Star and alcohol. Because of all that, Jeffree then posted this on his IG stories when he was out in Miami. You can see here, he's pouring a Red Bull into what looks like a champagne glass.
Most of the things that I have seen people calling Jeffree Star out for are things like, you know, the situation with Chris Avery Bennett, the situation with Gage Arthur, the numerous allegations that people have made about Jeffree Star, and like the fact that he has just continuously been one of the most problematic, one of the most offensive creators for like a decade.
Okay, so as you saw there, Pastel Belle mentions the allegations about Jeffree Star. Now, this is something that I really want to get into. It's something that I'm seeing a couple of channels mention. They're bringing it up again. You know, last year we had all of this with all the drama channels and with Adam McIntyre. A lot of people were bringing this one up last year. It was a whole big deal last summer. Jeffree has said that really affected his mental health badly, everything like that, which is understandable. You know, of course it would. If people are making those types of allegations about you, it will affect your mental health, you know. But I want to talk about these allegations because I actually went and did my own research on it a little while ago, and I know that these allegations are based on an excerpt from a book which was written by somebody called Hunter Moore. Now, if you don't know, Hunter Moore is somebody who was actually jailed in 2015 for revenge porn. He ran a revenge porn website called Is Anyone Up? So he was jailed in 2015 for 3 years. So he wrote this book, which was kind of like fan fiction involving Jeffree Star. It went into a lot of detail about a violent incident between somebody called Gage and Jeffree Star. There was a lot of mention of weaponry and all this type of stuff, you know. So the excerpt of the book, which I'm going to pop a screenshot in here, was written by Hunter Moore, who was jailed, as I said, for revenge porn. So everybody loves to say, oh, Jeffree Star's such a bad person, Jeffree Star's done this. But when you actually go and look at it, this excerpt of a book was actually shared on Twitter a couple of years ago, and it was shared by someone who was 15 years old. It was shared by a guy called Will Spill. I don't know if he's still around on the internet, but it was shared by him. He got blocked by Jeffree Star at the time for sharing that and all this kind of stuff. He got into a bit of a back and forth with Jeffree. So he was blocked by Jeffree, and like that was that. But I remember there being arguments between Will and Jeffree, you know, all sorts of stuff going on there. But he was 15, and honestly, I don't know what he was doing, but he was a James Charles fan, and he was always very, you know, fighting for James Charles, standing up for James Charles when the whole Dramageddon thing went down with James Charles and Jeffree Star. So he threw out this excerpt of this book, and then kind of nothing more was said about it. Then last summer it all came up again, and now it's coming up yet again. So I'm here just to kind of debunk it and say, well, actually, these allegations are based on this excerpt from this book that is fan fiction. So how can you tell me that there are victims of something that is based on fan fiction? Especially when you consider who this book was written by. This book was clearly written by a very malicious person who ran a fucking revenge porn site called Is Anyone Up? So straight away, that tells me that Hunter Moore was not a nice person at all. Hunter Moore had pictures up of people that their family and friends could find. You know, who does that, right? So Hunter Moore had this revenge porn site, Is Anyone Up? He wrote this book, which was basically slandering people like Jeffree Star. And now people want to make it a big thing and try and get money out of Jeffree Star because of that. Like, what the actual fuck? Really, like, this is slander. to me. You know, this is what you call slander. So how are people, drama channels, feeding into this and just kind of, you know, going with it? Oh, Jeffree Star's such an awful person, he did this. And then you've got the people like Chris Avery Bennett who are constantly speaking up. Chris Avery Bennett has also been on Pastel Belle's channel with this. And it's just like, look, you know, Chris Avery Bennett alleges that she received a dick pic 15 years ago, alleging it's from Jeffree Star. I've definitely spoken about this in other videos before. Now, I don't in any way want to invalidate Chris Avery Bennett's experience. I'm just going to put that out there straight away. I've made a Twitter thread detailing all of this, how I feel about that particular situation, you know, but I just feel like this is a case of somebody trying to chase after justice and say that their mental health has been really affected by this incident where they were bullied by a load of Jeffree Star fans because they made a fuss about receiving this dick pic. And I feel like now what this is Chris Avery Bennett claims that she's fighting for justice for what happened to her. She's fighting for justice, for closure. But these allegations in this book were all based on fan fiction. So Chris Avery Bennett is going around talking to different channels about these allegations, and it's misinformation. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just slander. Another thing that Pastel Belle brought up in her video was the racism apology video that Jeffree Star made a couple of years ago. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about this particular thing because today, especially being Juneteenth, I really don't think it's appropriate of me to talk about that. But also because I'm white, so that video wasn't ever my apology to accept. So I don't feel comfortable speaking about that issue.
Let's just look at the apology video in between these two videos and how Jeffree Star responded to the allegations of racism. It wasn't good. He also brings up the fact that he is living with this every day. He has not atoned. He is not a perfect person. He is still flawed, and he is still going to be tormented every day by thinking about everything problematic he has ever done. It's kind of like frustrating to me that he's trying to like beat the audience to the punch. It's like he knows that people are going to see this apology and not accept it and not think it's genuine and try to continue to hold him accountable. And so he's trying to beat them to the punch by saying, I know I'm not a perfect person, as if that isn't like the most empty and obvious saying that has ever been uttered by a single person ever.
This is the part in the video where we're about to get a little bit shady. Pastel Belle here. Oh, Pastel Belle, patron saint of all that is good in the world. Pastel Belle, oh my God, she's so innocent. She's such a good Christian woman. She's never put a foot wrong in her life. You know what I mean? So she's here. Oh, Jeffree Star's so problematic. Jeffree Star's so problematic. Are you telling me, Pastel Belle, that you've never done anything wrong in your life? Find me a person who has never made mistakes in their life. The racism issue aside, I'm putting that aside. As I said, I'm not speaking on that, especially today. But all the other things that Pastel Belle is talking about, the fact that Jeffree Star has been so problematic over the last 10 years or so, I find it hilarious. You know, it's all this kind of fake outrage. It's let's call everybody out for every little thing that they do. That is what it is. Let's call everybody out for every single little thing that they do, and we can sit here and act all saintly like we've never made a single mistake in our lives. I'm like, what is this? I know that I've made mistakes in my life. It would feel fucking awful to have people keep bringing up mistakes that I've made 10 years ago or something like that, you know? I've done things wrong in my life. So why is it that some of these YouTubers who are constantly having a go at Jeffree Star for past mistakes can't accept that they are just that, past mistakes? Jeffree has moved on since then. You know, he's running successful businesses. He's turned his life around. But these people are just harping on it. Oh, this problematic, that's problematic. For views and clicks. Fake outrage. I'm calling it. So then Pastel Belle moved on to comparing Jeffree Star's Never Doing This Again video and the recent video that Jeffree just put out. It's like, girl, get off your high horse. You know, people make mistakes. People are not perfect. There's this little thing called forgiveness and another little thing called empathy. If everybody was held to this standard, people would be fucking destroying themselves over little mistakes that they've made.
In typical YouTuber fashion, both videos end with some kind of reference about positive change that needs to happen in the future. So in the first video, he says, I need to have future conversations with people behind closed doors. And in the second video, he says, there's still more work to be done and I'm going to make a lot more mistakes. So both videos are ending by implying that he still has work to do, he still has to grow, and he is going to try to become a better person. He is going to put in the work to right the wrongs of his past, and he is going to try to become a better human being in the future. Now, I think that is a great thing to do. However, it's very obviously hypocritical because this video, these two videos, have the same talking points. They have the same exact points recycled. And these videos are 2 years apart. So Jeffree Star made this first video holding himself accountable, acknowledging where he made mistakes, trying to work on his mental health, which he said is the problem, which he said is the reason that he was doing all this bad stuff in the first place. And then he did that and continued to be the same person for 2 years and then decided to post another video saying exactly the same thing as he did in the first one. So I just thought it was really interesting that both of these videos are essentially the same. It's like they took the outline for the first one and then just deleted everything. They just kept the skeleton and then they inputted whatever was needed for 2021. And it's just very, very strange to me that so many people eat this up. So many people look at Jeffree Star and they say, yeah, he's changed. He made an apology video. He is not that person anymore. He's no longer in the dark place. When this is the same thing. This is the same video, the same talking points, just 2 years later. Nothing has changed, the same points were made, the same things were addressed, and Jeffree Star has not grown at all.
Okay, now this is the part of the video where we're going to get dark and deep and a little bit personal with me, because Pastel Belle sitting there saying all of that, well, that's all very well and good. But change is a process. Change is not something that happens instantly. I'm sitting here as somebody who, after being raped at the age of 14, I went down a very dark path in my life. I'm still rebuilding my life after that. Every day, every single day, I went down the path of drug addiction, excess drinking, all of that. I did a lot of bad things. After that incident of being raped, I actually went out shoplifting. On a lot of occasions, I was like a little kind of makeup shop for the people at my school, funnily enough. And I would basically get lists of what all the girls at school wanted. I would go out to the drugstores with my next door neighbour and we would go and steal all this makeup and stuff, go back to school and sell it to our friends for like knockdown prices. Yeah, you know, you might watch this video and think I'm an awful person for that. And you know what? That's fine, because I was an awful person, because I was dealing with a trauma that I didn't know how to deal with at that age. Just as Jeffree Star put that post on Instagram talking about his family being alcoholics. When you are young and you are dealing with trauma that you don't know how to deal with, it makes you grow up a little bit fucked up, a little bit damaged. It does that to you. And that process of change isn't going to happen overnight. As you grow through your adult life, that process of change is ongoing. After I was raped, the shoplifting got so bad with me and my next door neighbour. The shoplifting, the habit of that got so bad. You know, I was acting out, as I said, because of going through a trauma. But it got so bad, it got to the point where I was actually arrested, put in a police cell until my mum could come and collect me. I was cautioned for 3 years, so I had that on my police record for 3 years. After I came out of that police station, I felt like the worst person in the world. You know, I'm not sitting here as somebody who's proud of that. I'm not sitting here as someone who's proud to have done those bad things. But after that situation, something in my life definitely changed. After I came out of that police station, I was sat in the car and I felt like, oh my God, I'm worthless. I'm the worst person in the world. That has an effect on your mental health. You begin to think that you're permanently damaged. And because you think like that when you're that young teenager, you do go about the next years of your life like that. And things get worse and worse and they spiral. You know, it got to the point with me where I was in a squat with drug dealers. One of them actually gave me a cocktail of drugs. And then when I woke up, I found out that he'd done something to me. I knew because I was bruised down there. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and cry about any of this because it's all stuff that happened in the past. But these are all traumatic experiences that have an effect on you in life. Yes, there's therapy. Yes, there's help. But there isn't always access to the therapy and the help. You know, that's what I'm saying. But I've been now, after being diagnosed in 2019 with BPD, I've now been to a course of DBT therapy and all of this stuff. I really have worked on myself, right? So I can completely empathize with Jeffree Star making this video, talking about how his traumas have affected him in life. I can completely empathize because I've had that same kind of troubled teenage life. So I think there has to come a point where we have to say, okay, you know, we have to let people learn. We have to let people grow. We have to let people change. We have to respect that it's a long process. It's not something that's going to happen in a year or two. We have to let people really heal from the things that have affected them. It's just human. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop this little video right here, but I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye, guys.